Welcome back to Guitar Search Saturdays. My name's Shane. This is episode 41, filmed at the Rock Inn in Perth in Western Australia. For those outside of Australia, you might not know that Western Australia is the largest state in the world. It is absolutely massive, and Perth is the capital city. This video was filmed by none other than Dr. Rick, so a massive thanks to him for doing this. Rick and I are both pretty similar in the fact that anytime we go to a new city, the first thing we have to do is check out the guitar shops. The Rock Inn opened its doors in 1988, and it's a family-owned guitar shop. A massive thanks to the folks at the Rock Inn for letting us do this walkthrough. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to find out more about the Rock Inn, I'll leave links to their website in the description below, and that way you can get more details about anything you see in this video. Being that these videos aren't sponsored, if you'd like to help out, you can leave a thumbs up, and if we can get this video to 500 thumbs up, it will be a huge help to the channel. Thank you so much. Let's go in and take a look. First up, we have a row of SX guitars with a J&D luthier and Squire thrown into the mix. Now, if you're unfamiliar with SX guitars, I didn't know how great they were until I got my hands on a few at a prior Guitar Search Saturday shop, and I actually purchased a few. I really believe now these are some of the best Fender alternatives if you're on a budget. In Australia, they're far cheaper than something like a Squire Classic Vibe, but there's no real sacrifice on quality. The Epiphone guitar at the front is the Epiphone Casino Coupe. This is a hollow body electric guitar, and it's in a vintage sunburst. This guitar has some really great retro vibes, including these P90 dog ear pickups. Although they can't handle a whole lot of gain, they do sound great with a cleaner tone. At first glance, I thought these were all Epiphones, but they're not. The row at the back are SX LP style electric guitars, which is something I don't see a lot of in Melbourne. When it comes to comparing price between these two instruments, the SX is roughly $400 cheaper in Australia than that of an Epiphone Les Paul, so food for thought there if you're on a budget. If you've seen any of our Keys to the Guitar Shop series, you know how much I love these new Epiphone Les Paul Classics. These sound fantastic. I love the fact the pickups don't have the covers on them. The finish on the neck feels great. Everything about these is far superior to the Epiphones of old. Not to say that the old Epiphones were bad, because they're great guitars, but there's a definite difference in terms of feel and playability with this new series. I'll leave some links below so you can check them out in your part of the world. This is the Epiphone Les Paul Modern. It's in a burgundy color and it looks great. There's a few things that separates this from a lot of other Les Pauls. This guitar is built for comfort and speed. Not only does it get a lighter body, but it also has a contoured heel, allowing you to get up to the upper frets a whole lot easier than normal. Thanks to the Epiphone Pro Bucker pickups, which will appeal to those who love the classic PAF sound, you're getting a great mix of vintage and modern features in a single guitar. I love the top on this. I think the burgundy looks beautiful. This is the Tokai Surf Tone electric guitar. This is part of the Tokai Traditional series, and if you weren't able to guess, it's based on that of a Strat. Interestingly enough though, this isn't Japanese made, nor does it share the very familiar F-style headstock that we all know and love. If you go back to the lawsuit era Tokais, they're very similar. Man, I don't know about you, but I think this Squier Thinline Paranormal Cabronita Telecaster in Olympic White looks awesome. I'm loving the fact it's loaded with two P90 pickups. One of the things I've always tried to showcase on the channel were effects pedals from other parts of the world, as well as effects pedals from Australia. The Rock In feature a great mix of both overseas and locally produced pedals, one of which is Anarchy Audio. If you've been a long-term subscriber to the channel, you'll know I've used the Anarchy Audio Flutterby tremolo pedal for a very long time. It still stands as maybe the best tremolo I've ever used. As you can see, the Rock In carries a massive selection of effects pedals, both used and new. The majority of guitar shops don't seem to realize what they're missing out on when it comes to used gear. There's a huge market for it. It's great to see the Rock In deliver. Up next, I thought I'd show you the amplifiers and the high-end guitar room. Let's go in and take a look. Here's a couple of cool little amplifiers. On the right hand side we have the Egnator Rebel 20. Now I used to own the Egnator Rebel 30. One of the strengths of the Egnator series is their amplifier heads. I think the only letdown is the speaker cabinets. They're a little too small and a little too boxy sounding, and the closed back cabinet doesn't help it at all. I've heard one of these amplifiers go through a 2x12 Fender box and it was infinitely better, so just keep that in mind if you're thinking about buying this particular setup. On its left, we have the Supro Blues King. This is a 1-watt, 8-inch speaker full tube combo. I haven't had a chance to try one of these, but I'd like to give it a shot. Here's something you don't see every day. This is a Jackson Roswell Rhodes. This guitar was made in the late 1990s in Japan and also in limited quantities. Now, while this guitar is completely out of my wheelhouse, I love seeing stuff on the wall I don't expect to see. It's great seeing some used instruments in this store. Over the last 12 months, Gretsch guitars have grown on me big time. I think 2021 might be the year I actually pull a trigger on one. If you're a fan of Gibson electric guitars, you're going to love the Rock In. They've got plenty of electrics on display. This beautiful looking SG is the Gibson SG Standard 61 Maestro Vibrola in vintage cherry. These guitars sing, and what makes this one unique is that tremolo bridge section. Now, for Gibsons a little bit out of your price range, there's also the Epiphone equivalent. I'll leave links to those in the description below. And that's when I saw this. Please remain calm. We have our first official lefty sighting. This beautiful looking archtop electric guitar is from B&G. It's part of the Crossroads series called a Little Sister. It's loaded with a P90 pickup in the neck and bridge, and these things sound really cool. I've actually played a left-handed one of these, although I've never done a review on them. These have a really great sound for styles of music that are around the roots genre, so if you're playing something swampy, for example, the overtones of these pickups would suit that to a T. Scattered throughout this room, we have a great mix of amplifiers, including Marshall, Paul Reed Smith, Fender, Orange, Vox, and Mesa Boogie. Alright, here we go. We've got a selection of guitars I don't think that's been showcased on any Guitar Search Saturdays episode, and that's why I love doing this series. This is the Burns SSJ electric guitar in green burst. This is one of 3 of the new models based on the 1962 jazz guitar series using a shorter scale of 24 3/4 inches. This SSJ jazz guitar has 2 Burns trisonic pickups as per the original 60s models. While this is a Strat style electric guitar in terms of its body, it's great to see something different. I'm digging that 3-position toggle switch. I first remember seeing vintage guitars roughly 10 years ago. A few of my friends have a couple of the black Eric Clapton inspired relic Strats, but I don't think I've come across one of their LP style electric guitars. I've definitely never seen one with this heavy relic. This kind of reminds me of the Painted Over series from Gibson. While that LP is at the higher end of the spectrum, there's definitely more affordable options. There's plenty of solid body electric guitars in this collection that are heavily inspired by a number of different brands. Pretty cool. When it comes to the Fender Wall, the Rock Inn has just about everything. They also have a really great selection of made-in-Japan Strats and Telecasters, which aren't available in every country around the world. So we're a little lucky here in Australia to get easy access to those instruments. There's one Strat that really caught my eye, and it's this one right here. This is the very beautiful Fender Custom Shop 1959 Journeyman Stratocaster, and it's in what they call a relic aged black. This is a 2020 guitar. Dr. Rick actually had a prior version of one of these, and these are really great Strats. Some of what makes this guitar unique is we get 21 narrow tall frets. There's 6105s, which are preferred by a lot of guitarists, including myself. We also get a 60 style oval C-shaped neck, which is preferred by a lot of players who aren't into the really big and chunky necks. One of the things Rick really loved about his guitar was the fact you could turn it down and it would stay beautifully clean, and it's got the vintage modified wiring with a tone saver bleed as well, which is kind of like a treble bleed circuit, allowing all the high end to pass through at any volume. These are really great guitars. Go check them out. This has to be up there as the wildest and wackiest headstocks I've ever seen on a Fender guitar. And this guitar is the Fender Maverick Dorado. It sounds like a car. I'm actually a big fan of the Parallel Universe series. I think it's a great chance for Fender to experiment around with bodies and necks of different types and to try to come up with something that looks visually very striking. Let me know in the comments if you like this headstock design or not, but on this particular guitar, it kind of works in my opinion. If you're in the great city of Perth in Western Australia, go check out the Rock Inn Guitar Shop. I've just scraped the tip of the iceberg with this. There's so many guitars, amplifiers, effects, and used gear in this store that I can't possibly cover it all. They have lots and lots of great stuff. A massive thank you to the guys from the Rock Inn for letting us do this walkthrough. I really appreciate it. And also a massive thanks to Dr. Rick for filming this on his phone. I think he did a great job. Please don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you lasted this long, and if you want to check out my Patreon page that helps power these episodes, please check it out. I'll leave links on screen and in the description below. A massive thank you to all the Patreon subs for their continued support, and everyone who's already subscribed to the channel that watches the videos. Thanks again. Catch you soon. See ya.